right in the leaves. How fun.
Western society has a very loud opinion about what our lives should look like after 50 and beyond. We're told we should still be productive, still improving, or at the very least, aging gracefully, which is often just code for trying to look like we aren't aging at all. And if our life doesn't look big or impressive from the outside, it can start to feel like we're doing it all wrong. But my understanding of ikigai, especially the way it's lived in Okinawa, is much quieter or smaller. It's as simple as looking forward to your morning coffee or tending to your indoor plants. But how do we keep that quiet purpose safe from society's expectations? For me, the Japanese ideas of Wabi-sabi and Ma, and my own practice of journaling, help me hold on to a life that feels meaningful to me, and not a life that's about chasing an unattainable dream. In my latest videos, we found our ikigai. But today, I want to talk about something much harder, protecting it. Because knowing what makes your life worth living, whether it's being creative or spending time with friends and family, only half the battle. The other half is defending that purpose from a world that wants to drown it out with shoulds, with pressure to make money, or the need to stay busy. Today, we're setting boundaries around our joy. 1. Society considers your quiet purpose a waste of time. The world wants you to be a consumer or a producer. When you choose to spend 2 hours writing a story in your journal about an old keepsake, society sees inactivity. The harsh truth, you will have to be okay with being misunderstood. Neuroscientist Ken Mogi says the first pillar of ikigai is starting small. In the West, we treat purpose like a mountain that we have to climb. But in Okinawa, ikigai is horizontal. It's the ground you walk on. It's the ikigai kan, the feeling of life. Through a wabi-sabi lens, the beauty of the ordinary, a slow morning is just as sacred as a big achievement. Your purpose doesn't have to be Instagram worthy to be real. For me, I look forward to that first glass of water when I wake up and then making my morning cup of matcha. Such a simple thing, but it really does get me out of bed. That little anticipation, that's ikigai. And protecting it means trusting that these small moments matter, even if the world doesn't applaud them. 2. The hustle doesn't retire, it just changes clothes. You thought the pressure would end at 60, but it just shifts to staying relevant or staying busy. If you don't actively protect your ikigai, you can end up busy all the time with things you don't actually care about. Sociologists talk about the social clock, the invisible timeline that tells us when we should achieve and when we should disappear. That hustle follows us into our 50s and 60s. We feel a pressure to stay busy just to prove we're still relevant. But Okinawans don't even have a word for retirement. Their ikigai simply evolves. We have to consciously reject the productivity trap that says our value is tied to what we do rather than who we are. I've shared this before, but I still have a hard time prioritizing my ordinary, simple joys. I tend to push them to the very end of my to-do list. Yoga doesn't help me lose 10 pounds overnight. Taking Sven to the beach doesn't grow my bank account. Those things just feel less necessary. But constantly pushing those simple joys to the back of the line is actually denying my reason for being. Back when I worked a 9 to 5, I had this constant feeling that I had to stay relevant. I needed to learn the latest technology, keep up with the trends, and chase promotions just to prove I belonged at the company. As I moved toward retirement, that fear followed me. Am I losing my relevance? The answer is no, but you have to fight to believe that. Protecting your ikigai means recognizing that your value isn't tied to your productivity or your status. It's tied to who you are and the small, beautiful things that make your life feel worth living today. 3. Kintsugi and the beauty of the fading. I think this actually pertains to everyone, but women especially face the idea that our worth is tied to youthful beauty. Author Mary Pfeiffer, who wrote Reviving Ophelia, refutes the idea that we reach a fading season. She believes we actually come into our own, growing into our authentic selves. As we shed external expectations and internal doubts, we gain confidence, clarity, and purpose. I remember the decision to stop dyeing my hair. It felt like a rebellion, but maybe to some it might seem like I just gave up. Society sees gray hair or wrinkles as things to be fixed or hidden. But there's a Japanese art called Kintsugi where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The repair doesn't hide the crack, it draws attention and illuminates it. Choosing to embrace my gray was my version of Kintsugi. It's saying these years aren't a failure to stay young. They are the gold in my story. Protecting your ikigai means honoring your cracks instead of covering them up. 4. You are the only one who will protect your ma. If you don't set boundaries with your family, your friends, and your schedule, the world will fill every empty corner of your life with its own noise. There's a beautiful Japanese concept called ma. It means the space between, the pause, the quiet. In midlife, as we approach retirement age, we actually need more ma, more intentional pauses. For me, my guided journal, Keepsake Stories, has become one way I create that space. When I sit down to write the story behind my daughter's old varsity jacket or my cat's favorite chewed up plushie, I'm creating ma. I'm not just being nostalgic. I'm declaring that this ordinary, unproductive memory is more important than the noise of the world. By writing these stories, you validate your life. You say, I was here. I loved this and it mattered. It's so easy for life's shoulds to take over our intentional pauses, so we have to actively protect them. Protecting your ikigai means protecting your ma, because that quiet space is where your purpose can actually breathe. 5. If you don't document it, the shoulds will drown it out. Our memories and our small daily purposes are fragile. This is one of the harsh truths of aging. If we don't anchor our meaning in something physical, like a journal, photos, letters, the shoulds of the present will slowly push out the beauty of our past and the purpose of our today. Psychologist Carl Jung said, "We cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning." The morning of our lives was about performing and building. The afternoon is about presence. I want to be honest about something. When a video doesn't do well, I can easily slip into comparison and feel the need to do more and more. That's the morning program trying to run my afternoon. But when I notice myself going down that path, I try to come back to creativity instead of chasing metrics. So if you ever feel that same tension between the pressure to reach unrealistic goals and simply knowing that you are enough, just know that you're not alone. This channel is my experiment in finding a different kind of balance, being honest about the practical need for growth while never letting a metric define my worth. Protecting your ikigai is an ongoing internal battle. I still hear the shoulds. I still feel the urge to compare. But then I come back to my journal. I look at a keepsake and write its story. I remind myself that my life is full of ups and downs and lots of lessons along the way. My life is beautiful in its messiness and imperfections. Viktor Frankl once said that meaning is what makes life bearable. Your meaning doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be yours. I'd love for you to think of one object in your home, maybe something weathered or imperfect, that holds a beautiful story. So if you could, share it with us in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos about finding your daily purpose, here's a playlist you might enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you find wellness today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.